The Glock G44. Let's check it out. Glock just introduced their G44, which is in .22 long rifle. Same size as your Glock 19, same trigger pull, and the magazines are actually the same size. That means you can take this pistol, put it in your G19 holster, you can take the mags and put them in the pouch. It is an excellent training companion for your Glock 19. And one of the reasons why Glock designed this, but they also designed it to take new shooters out, to plink just as a sporting pistol, to be able to pack away in a bag because it's super lightweight. So let's get into some of the details, and we're also going to talk about why Glock chose this configuration for their .22 pistol. And I want to thank Glock for sending the G44 for this test and evaluation. Now, I was really honored when Glock invited me down for the release announcement, and we had no earthly idea what they were going to introduce, but one thing for sure, they said it was going to be something big. Honestly, I felt like that it was going to be a Glock carbine, and when they introduced the G44 in .22 long rifle, I was stunned. I mean, I had no idea that Glock was going to introduce a .22, but I was not disappointed. Number one, .22 is very popular. There's a lot of great things about it. I've been wanting a Glock conversion kit for a while. And so while some people seem to be disappointed, I am excited about the new G44. And we're going to talk about some of the reasons why and why I think this is a great gun to look at for .22. And many of you know I've already uploaded this video, and I brought it back down and revised it because there was something really important that I missed and that I needed to correct. When we first took the G44 down to the range, I loaded up some CCI mini mags. Shot 5 rounds, had a stovepipe. Then I continued to shoot the 5 rounds, and then continued to shoot over 300 rounds of CCI, plus another 100 or so of the Winchester Bulk, Blazer, Agula, Match, Federal Match. On Federal Match, we did have on the first magazine, the slide didn't hold open, but it's really underpowered for accuracy. So I just wanted to make sure that I clarified that, because it's really important that reliability is the key that Glock's trying to produce here. But I wanted to show everything that's going on. Now, full disclosure, Glock did invite me down, and they did send the G44 ahead of time for me to review and to get this video out before it was released. And I really appreciate Glock for doing that. But if I want to keep the G44, I have to pay for it. Yeah, I get a small discount, but I have to pay for it. And then 50-50, YouTube may or may not demonetize it. So really, I'm spending money to bring this video to you. Yeah, I get a little bit early, but other than that, there is no benefit to me or advantage to hide anything. So I just wanted to bring that out. Because guys, yeah, my integrity is important to me. And why I just blew past me, I don't know. Now guys, let's get into the details of the pistol. That's one of the biggest things, is what are the features on here? How is it different than your standard Glock? And why would this make a good training option? Number one, it is the exact same size as the Glock 19. We're going to take a look at that in just a minute. It really is a departure from a lot of the other rimfire handguns out there. And we'll drop our magazine first. 10-round magazine, which has caused some internet buzz. And then, of course, the gun is unloaded. One of the things about the magazine is that .22 has a rim right here. And because of that, when they stack, they tend to stack kind of funny. And so in a single stack with 10 rounds is the industry norm. That's what everybody's going with. And honestly, that is the most reliable way for .22 to be in a pistol. You know, yes, you've got your Taurus, you've got your Kel-Tec that has more rounds. But one of the things that Glock really was striving to do is to make a extremely reliable 22, because that is the big problem with 22. They can be, you know, finicky with ammo. They can have some issues. And so Glock decided to go straight with the 10-round magazine. And then here with the cuts in the side, you can see your rounds, and it does have this assist button, which is typical for 22 again, and it just makes it really easy to load. One of the great things, though, about this magazine is it's the exact same size as your Glock 19 mag. In fact, they'll both fit into the mag well. And so for training, this is a huge plus. A lot of times with most of your 22 pistols, the magazine is different. It's not the same size, it's not the same width. And for training, this is definitely a big plus. And it does come with 2 magazines. Flared mag well to insert your mags. And then we have the Polymer Slide. Now this is definitely a huge departure from Glock. And with the Polymer Slide, it has reinforced steel underneath. Now we'll look a little bit more at that, but the hole underneath is steel, not aluminum. This is steel. And if you made this slide completely steel, you're going to have some problems because it will not be able to cycle the 22 rimfire. And so instead of going with aluminum, which a lot of guns do in 22, they decided to go with polymer, which they know very well because of their frames. Now, another big thing about this handgun is these are made in the United States, and they are clearly marked. There were some questions. Is this a Umarex version like Colt and Walther does, or is this really a Glock? And this is made by Glock right here in the US. The frame itself, again, is a Gen 5 style frame. I mean, it is exact. And so we want to bring in the Glock 19, and as you can see, guys, it is based on the Glock 19, and one of the big things about that is it will fit into holsters. Your magazines will fit into mag holders, and so it's just going to be the same size, except the thickness of the slide is a little bit narrower with the 22 or the G44. You can see just has a little bit of a difference, and the cuts right here at the front of the slide are not quite as pronounced. Also, you'll notice this little place right here. I'm not even sure what that's about. We have had some questions about micro red dots and will they be introducing one of the MOS models. And from what Glock has said, they will not, because it adds more mass to the slide. It could cause reliability issues, and so they're just going to stick with this. Yes, you can probably have this cut and milled, but you know, that's going to be your choice. But the one thing that Glock really wanted to go for is reliability. It does have adjustable rear sights and then your standard front post like a typical Glock. These are compatible with your standard aftermarket sights. One thing you want to be careful of, though, is this is a polymer slide, and so when inserting sights you need to be really careful. And that was one of the things that Robbie Wheaton mentioned because of the polymer, and if the sight is a little bit too wide at the dovetail, it can dig into the polymer and some other things. So that's one thing you want to be careful of, but it is compatible. You do have your standard Gen 5 texturing here with the pyramids. You have your magazine release here, and it is switchable to the other side. You have ambidextrous slide stops, so either side. You have your standard Glock trigger. Now that is another thing about this as far as making it a training pistol. It has the exact same trigger pull as your standard Glocks. And so you're going to get that consistency every time if you're training with a Glock 19 with a standard trigger. And you have your Glock accessory rail, which is compatible with most of your lights and lasers. Here I have an Olight PL Mini 2, fully adjustable, locks in, and it's perfect. And the barrel length is 4.02 inches. And it is a marksman barrel, so this should be extremely accurate. I know that I was hitting targets out to 108 yards at the Glock event with no problem. And so we're going to do some accuracy when we get down to the range. Now in your typical Glock, in this G19, when you pull the slide back, the barrel actually cants. It lifts forward. It's the tilting barrel design. It comes out of battery here, and it pushes the barrel up. And this gives you some dwell time while you're firing the handgun. With the 22, you'll notice that it rides lower in the slide, and when you pull it back, it's straight. There's no tilting. And so this is going to keep it in line the whole time. The weight on the G44 with a magazine, 14.8 ounces. The G19 with a magazine, 24.2 ounces, about a 10-ounce difference. And you can definitely tell the difference when picking it up. Now, another thing about the G44, it is rimfire, and pulling the trigger on most rimfires is a problem. But here with the Glock, because it's designed the same way as your typical Glocks, it is fine to dry fire. There is no problem dry firing this handgun. And that makes it great because you do need to pull the trigger to disassemble. We're going to drop our magazine, make sure the gun is unloaded. Let's check our trigger pull action. We've got our trigger safety, which is typical for Glock. Got some take up, which is fairly spongy, which is again typical for Glock. Nice break. Reset. Yep, right there. I mean, this is a typical Glock trigger. And with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells, let's check the trigger pull weight. It's a little bit slick on here. 5 pounds, 5.9 ounces, and guys, to be honest, that's pretty much what it is. About 5.5 pounds. And we have a number of different type ammunition. We have some CCI mini mags, some Agula, some Blazers. We have some Federal match, and we have Federal bulk and Winchester bulk. We're just going to try these. I just grabbed some off the shelf. Now, what's typical for your 22? You have these loading levers. These are very easy to grab, and just pull it down and pop them in. It's one great thing about 22. It's really easy on your thumbs. Guys, I love 22. It's really relaxing to take it down to the range. You're not spending a lot of money. It's low recoil. Muzzle report is very light. And, you know, it's just a great gun to take out to the range. And that makes it great for first-time shooters. Taking, you know, family, friends, people that haven't shot before, and introduce them through a 22. To me, it's one of the best ways. And then again, you know, you can match this with the Glock 19 and move up. Now, that's one of the things about the 19 is it just matches with this firearm. I mean, all the controls. In fact, when you first get it out to the range and I lined up the sights, I was like, this is a Glock 19, but where is it? Because it's really lightweight. The super low recoil, it's just a lot of fun to shoot. Now, all the different ammo types we tried, and I showed you that a minute ago. I mean, we tried a lot of different types. They all functioned. I mean, it was perfectly reliable, except we had some Federal match that right at the last round, the slide didn't hold open. And then when we shot more, it did hold open. But you could tell that the Federal match was a lot more underpowered than the standard velocity ammunition. Guys, I do have a correction to make with the G44 video. We did have one additional malfunction that honestly I just completely forgot about. And it was the first magazine. We were shooting some CCI mini mags, and we had one stovepipe. And I cleared it and continued to shoot. And then just by the time I got finished getting the video together and editing, it just slipped my mind. Now, we also put about 500 rounds through it today without any malfunctions, comparing it to the Walther P22. And so again, we spent quite a bit of time shooting this, and guys, it's just a great little pistol. And so for accuracy, with it being a marksman barrel, I just decided we were going to try it at 10 yards, see what it would do. So we did 10 rounds with CCI mini mags, 10 rounds with Federal match, just to see if there was a difference. They spent over 1.2 million rounds firing through the G44s. They have one that has 12,000 rounds through it with 0 malfunctions and has never been cleaned. They have another one with 40,000 rounds through it. It took 3 years for them to develop this pistol. So there is a lot of R&D that's gone behind this handgun. And when Glock says perfection, the perfection is the reliability. And with the marksman barrel, you're going to get really exceptional accuracy. Now let's disassemble the handgun. Go ahead and bring it back. Pull the trigger like you would on a Glock. Bring back your slide about 1/4 of an inch and pull down on your takedown tabs. And the slide comes right off, exactly like the Glock. And if you look right here, you would think that this is a Glock 19. One of the big differences is the locking block. And you're not going to be able to put a G19 slide on here. It actually goes over and stops about right here. Has everything to do with the locking block. Now we have our recoil spring and guide rod. It is dual captive springs. And we have our barrel. Barrel's definitely a departure from your standard Glock. And this is, even though it's a blowback design, it is not a fixed barrel, which is really different for your 22. Now you'll notice your feed ramp, from what I understand, they do have a fluted chamber for the 22. And also you see you have a crown right here at the end of the barrel to help preserve accuracy. But this is a funny little barrel. But man, you can tell it's high quality. Now of course you'll notice this little line right here, and this is the steel reinforced rails, and this whole area is steel. So you have steel on steel contact with the slide rails that are on the frame. Firing pin safety here, you have your striker. So again, this is very similar to your Glock 19 design. A little bit smaller in size here, but again, same design. And guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. We're going to go ahead and replace our barrel, recoil spring and guide rod, bring it back over your slide, and we're good to go. It does have replaceable back straps, so you can go with none, which makes it the smallest, and then you can add medium and large, or you can go with the beaver tail effect right here, medium and large. And so this is going to fit about any hand. And if you have that on your standard Glock 19, again, it's going to mate very well. Now Glock is offering a threaded barrel. It's going to be 9 by 3/4 inch threads. It's metric threads, and they will have an adapter which is 1/2 by 28. Which will go on any of your different suppressors. Now it does come with your standard Glock box, and again we have our back strap options, we have an extra magazine, and we have all the parts and the cleaning rod, also with a lock and your owner's manual. So this is going to come just like your standard Glock. Now the MSRP on the Glock G44 is $439. Market price is around $359. Some people think that that's too expensive. But considering that you can buy a 22 conversion kit, whether it's Advantage Arms or Tactical Solutions, for $300 to $350, this is a great buy. And it is a Glock. And it's made by Glock right here in the USA. So guys, honestly, I don't see the problem. So why buy the G44? Number one, reliability in a 22 long rifle that's unsurpassed. This gun is going to give you good reliability with a variety of different type ammunitions. They used over 123 different 22 ammunitions to test this pistol. Secondly, if you have a Glock 19, this is a no-brainer, especially if you carry it for concealed or you depend on a Glock 19 as your self-defense handgun. This is an excellent training option. Same size as the Glock 19, same magazine size, again, so it goes into your holsters and your mag pouches. Also, the trigger has the same trigger pull. So really, this to me is a great option for training. It's cheaper, you've got low recoil, low muzzle blast, you can put a lot of rounds down range. And that's going to translate into shooting your Glock 19. Also, it's super lightweight, so it's going to be great to put into a pack. And again, reliability. Ammunition's lightweight and it's cheap. And then also, if you're just taking out first-time shooters, and that's a big one for me. Typically, I'll take my G19 out to the range and a 22 to get people introduced into the shooting sports. And with this, I can start out with the G44 and then transition right to my Glock 19. And so to me, that is a great thing. I'm really excited actually about getting new shooters out using the G44 along with my G19. So overall, guys, honestly, I am really excited about the G44. I know there's a lot of people out there that have been critical of some of the aspects of the Glock. But guys, once you get a hold of it, once you see the reliability and the accuracy, and then how it mates with the G19, I think this was an excellent choice. So for all the critics, just don't buy it. But for those of you who do buy it, you're gonna love it. And again, I want to thank Glock for sending the G44 for this review, and also for having me down for the release. I mean, this is great to be able to have hands-on before this thing is available to the public. And again, that's January 20th, 2020. Rubber Dummies is one of the best training tools on the market, and you get a 10% discount using Suit00 when you click the link down in the description. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. I don't need I don't need my maglula. You're just putting rounds. And one of the things you're going to notice right up front, of course, it is definitely crap. It's just a very enjoyable firearm. Of course, okay. And for those of you who say that Glock never does anything different, I think they've proven it with this. But I'm still seeing comments. It's ridiculous. And really, any other pistol out there. Polymer frame, okay, polymer slide. Oh, you gotta be kidding. I'm crazy.